Well, it is Friday. It is a beautiful Friday in Colorado. I'm here with my face mask. I'm here with my Lysol, and today we are talking about coronavirus and Colorado and work injuries and what happens if you get injured by getting infected with coronavirus or frankly any disease. But here in Colorado, we've finally gotten done with some winter weather, and this weekend we're expecting it to be about 70 degrees, so it's going to be fabulous. But as the news has been showing, coronavirus obviously is the big thing now, and we have 2 confirmed cases, at least as of this morning, in Colorado. That is way expected to grow, given the nature of this virus and disease. And so one of the obvious questions is, what happens if you become infected with coronavirus, or frankly any sort of virus, and you think it's due to work? In fact, Pinnacle Assurance, which is the largest workers' compensation insurance company here in Colorado, they've already put out guidelines for employers to follow in order to minimize the spread of coronavirus. And that's all very well and good, but what happens if you come down with coronavirus? Will you be covered under workers' compensation? And the short answer is yes, you will be. But you've got to prove that you became exposed to and became infected to coronavirus at work, and not just at the store or from the family or from wandering around in public, etc. If you can't prove that you were infected, exposed at work, you're going to have a hard time getting workers' compensation to cover for the cost of treatment for coronavirus or any other infectious disease. But oftentimes we've seen this, we've dealt with this before. Several years ago, when West Nile was a big factor in Colorado and elsewhere, and other diseases, SARS and MERS, etc. The big sticking point is, can you prove that it was more likely than not that you were infected, exposed to the coronavirus at work? And that is hard unless you work in some sort of situation, for example, hospitals, particularly hospitals that are treating people with coronavirus. You're a first responder and you have documented contact with somebody who is infected with coronavirus, and then within the period of time that we expect people to start showing symptoms, which I hear is like even 2 weeks, but please don't take anything I'm saying about the virus as news about the virus, because I'm just as clueless as everybody else here. But I'm here not clueless about what workers' compensation will do. So if you contract coronavirus or any other virus and you think it's because of work, you need to start very quickly gathering the proof of how it was that you were infected in Colorado. It's not just enough. For example, if you're saying, I'm a waiter, I wait on a bunch of people here in Greeley, and we now have 200 cases in Greeley, which we don't, but we do, and I am sure that one of those 200 people came to my restaurant. That's going to be a hard sell. But if you are a nurse, a healthcare practitioner, if you work in a lab that's dealing with coronavirus, etc., that's going to be much easier for you, not still foolproof, but easier for you to prove exposure at work was more likely than not the cause of the infection. So Pinnacle Assurance is recommending, as are medical doctors, as is frankly common sense, that in dealing with this or any sort of health issue, that washing hands is great. Washing hands is really good, 20 minutes. Sing the alphabet song, not the new one, the old one, the old classic alphabet song. Make sure you get your fingertips, etc. Also, if you're sick, don't come to work. Stay home, don't get infected with others. Avoid people who are ill. Avoid touching your face, your mouth, etc. And eventually, like all things, this too shall pass, and we will all be back to normal lives, etc. But in the meantime, if you are concerned, if you do contract the coronavirus, make sure that you are able to show, if you believe it's due to work, that there's proof that you were actually in some sort of industry where it came into contact with some known carriers and that you were part of that. If you can prove that, then chances are your infection would be covered under workers' compensation. If you can't, then you will not. As always, we here at Kaplan Morrell help Colorado injured workers when they and their families are being stressed from having a work injury and they're not getting the benefits they deserve. We help injured workers and their families recover medical care, lost wages, and other benefits that they're entitled to under the law. We've been helping injured and disabled workers since 1995, and we would love to help you or your loved ones or anyone you know, so please recommend us. Our telephone number is 970-356-9898. We have offices throughout the Front Range, but more importantly, we are in your back pocket. We can meet with you, share documents with you in your phone. If you've got a phone, we can be there and we can talk with you, and you have access to an attorney who knows what they're doing. Have a great weekend, be safe, wash hands, and look forward to talking with all of you later. Thank you for listening. Bye.